Hamann, 2-2 was the score you went for beforehand, and it has turned out that way.
Yeah, it only took me 7 years to get one right.
We're glad we were here with you for it.
Yeah, I don't know where this team is going to go, because he came to the club 18 months ago. It was obvious that the defence needed reinforcement, that this was the part of the team that needed a strengthening and developing. And have I seen progress in the last 18 months? No. Are they any better now than they were 18 months ago? No. And if I look at the squad now, we talked about how good they are, and it's without a doubt, it's, apart from City, I'd say it's probably the strongest strike force and players going forward in the league. You've got on the bench, you've got Sturridge, you've got Coutinho, Oxlade-Chamberlain. I don't see any reason why they needed to bring him in. But in Sturridge and Coutinho, they've got two top-class players there. And then you've got in Klavan and Robertson, you've got two players on the bench, two defensive players. And this is with Moreno in the team. This is with question marks over Lovren. I think Gomez did all right tonight. And I just think that I've rarely seen a more unbalanced squad in Liverpool's history and in any top Premier League team in history. It's very top-heavy, and we've seen it again today. They win 4-0, they lose 5-0. Today they give the game away. Obviously, the penalty didn't help. They missed. They probably should have won the game. But they're always prone to the odd mistake. It puts a lot of added pressure to the offence, and I don't think this team is going anywhere.
Eamon, are they going anywhere?
No, I think it's very interesting what Didi's just said, because he's absolutely right. It's not an easy thing to say, but I have suspended disbelief. I liked Klopp when he first came. There was a high press, there was an excitement. He improved players, but it's irresponsible to neglect the defensive side of the game the way he does. To play Moreno time after time, I think we're going to be able to, show that he was responsible for both goals. He's got James Milner on the bench, who was a very good stand-in left-back last year, and Robertson, who they bought in the summer, is Scotland left-back, very, very good player. But he willfully plays Moreno. And Lovren, Matip, Gomez was poor, the goalkeepers are poor, both of them. The one at Klavan tonight and Mignolet. And, Liverpool's a huge club. And the hardest thing in football is to create and score goals, to get forwards like Salah, like Mane, like Firmino and Coutinho, who can actually beat people from nothing and create danger and score goals. That is the hardest thing, the most coveted thing in football. The most fundamental and easiest thing is to get your defence and get your team organised when you haven't got the ball and make sure everything there is right. Now, how Moreno is back in the team, every Liverpool fan watching this tonight knows about Moreno. Why doesn't Jurgen Klopp know? And leaves two perfectly good left-backs on the bench, and has done it since the start of the season. First game of the season, away to Watford. They were notorious for giving set-piece goals away. First set-piece is a corner, back of the net. Same game, having taken the lead in extra time, the last kick of the game is a Watford corner, back of the net. There's something wrong with this guy. He doesn't see it, doesn't know how to put it right. And it's very, very bad news for all of us, because I love Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan. I love the creativity of their forward players, but this is dumb, beyond forgiveness.
Liam, beyond forgiveness?
Well, he's got to address it, and he hasn't done so. Question marks are going to be asked why he hasn't. Even coach the players to be organised, to defend better, such as set pieces. I think, if you concentrate on those things, you can improve them. Okay, and then the next question would be, well, why didn't you move in the transfer market and bring in some defenders? Now, we all know a lot of teams are looking for strong central defenders, commanding defenders, and there's not many out there, to be fair to Klopp. But not to make any effort to do it and put your faith in the lads he's got at the moment, I think is naive, and I think it's almost like, well, we're going to score more goals than the opposition. Well, with a defence like that, they're going to have to score a lot of goals, Dara. I saw the game against Man City at the weekend, and first 10-15 minutes Liverpool were very good. Looked like they were going to really give City a game, maybe beat them. And then one ball from De Bruyne opens up the defence. Totally square, just one ball, and Aguero's in on the goalkeeper, just walks around him and scores. You can't expect to really do things and win trophies and compete at the very highest level if your defence is like that. And okay, as Jim said, not a great deal of damage has been done in the scheme of the group, Eamon, Didi. You know, I still think it's between those teams who's going to top the group, but you know, they won't go very far, and we said this at the top of the show, they won't go very far in the Champions League, which is an awful pity because of that defence.
Didi, to look at it, and you guys very, very educated watching it, and all the knowledge and all the years of experience that you have looking at them defend. I don't have that, but I'm looking at it and I can see the mistakes that are there, what they're doing, maybe the lack of confidence after the weekend, but just how it spreads through that line. And maybe it comes from the goalkeeper. It seems to sometimes when Mignolet is there. But how can he fix this? Well, as Eamon says, he doesn't think there's an issue with Moreno. Maybe he will after tonight. But how does he go about putting this right? Because he has to put it right.
Derek, we all make mistakes, and the players make mistakes. If there was no mistakes, there wouldn't be any goals. But the mistakes keep happening now for the last 18 months. And what you want to see, if I watch a team with a new manager, I want to see progress. Have I seen progress in this team? No, I haven't. Because last year they did okay at times, they were inconsistent. But if you concede cheap goals, you will be inconsistent because you can't outscore the opposition time and time again. And I think if you work with players, I think you can improve them. As Eamon perfectly well said, this is the bread and butter. This is not the easiest thing to do, but to stop somebody from scoring a goal is far, far easier, or far more easier than creating something and scoring a goal. This is why the forwards earn top dollar and the defenders don't earn as much as the forwards do. And if I look at Moreno, if you look at even Matip and Lovren, they've been playing together now for 12 months. Time and time again, they make the same mistakes. They concede of set pieces, they concede of goals where people don't pick up. I don't think they've got a communicator at the back, because somebody, we go to it in a minute, that equaliser, I think, should have been avoided if somebody had a voice at the back and told the centre midfielders to pick up. And the next thing is, as Liam said at half-time, this defensive-minded mentality that the defenders, first and foremost, are there to stop the opposition from scoring. Moreno for the first goal. Lovren misses a ball. But when they do make a mistake, you need somebody to cover for you and hopefully help you out. And they don't do that. They haven't got a defensive mentality, and I think that comes from the coach. Why did Chelsea win the league last season? They weren't the best going forward, but defensively, they're a back three, and they're in Matic and in Kante, they probably had the best two central or holding midfielders. So you've got to win games from the back. You can't build a team from the front. It doesn't work unless you've got Messi and Neymar and whoever, Suarez in your team. You can't build a team from the front, and this is the worry I had for the last 12 months. Is the same worry I have now, and how it's going to get better, I do not know.
Well, I think Didi's going to talk us through the equaliser for Seville. But when the ball goes dead, Dara, that's the time you become alive. That's the time that people get organised. Pick him up, I'll pick him up, you go there. Watch the goal that Didi's going to describe.
Do you want to have a look? Let's have a look. This is after 73 minutes.
How free the centre forward is, or the sub is, Muriel.
So if you can just stop it for a second here. You see Emre Can there, who's playing with Wijnaldum and Henderson in the middle. Henderson's picking the guy up on the left-hand side because Gomez is out of position. He just kicked the ball out, I think. So Henderson is in the right position. He covers the forward. Look at the guy in the middle who receives the ball. Now, Emre Can, I think in his head, I think he knows the ball is going to go there, because if you look at his reaction, as soon as the ball goes, I think he knows the guy is there. He makes no effort whatsoever to pick that man up. And if you roll it now, the ball is coming in, then he turns around, it's too late, and then Moreno's got to stay with the runner. Correa goes and trying to get in between Moreno and Lovren. He does, though. He gets a bit lucky with a touch, but Moreno has got to stay with the runner, and if the ball goes to to the wide man, then he can still go out there and cover him. So Moreno should have done better for the first goal. He's responsible for the second goal, part of. And then in the last minute, he plays the guy on side. So going forward, he was probably as good as any today, Moreno. But he's still involved in in the 2 goals and potentially in the goal that could have won it for Seville. So it's simply not good enough.
Didi played that position where he would shield the centre forward from getting the ball, and nobody's even bothered. The centre backs haven't said to Chan, get back and get in front of him, stop him from receiving the ball. There's nothing like that going on, and it's going to cost them dearly, you know, as they progress in this competition.
We talk about the Irish, lacking the international team lacking a person. I saw Shane Duffy now trying to pick it up. Obviously, you know that, but an awful lot of talking needs to go on, and Chan needs to be. That's perfect illustration there. That's what you need, an organiser at the back. But the Moreno problem, there's no cure for it. It's actually 12 months, 15 months ago, Seville, the really good Sevilla side, beat Liverpool. And that night, Moreno was the arch villain. He was responsible for it. That's 15, 16 months ago. Yeah. Then he was out. He didn't play much last year for Klopp. Now, something's happened in Klopp's head, that Moreno is back. And this is like, buying getting an old banger that you sold 15 months ago and saying, I'll put new tyres on, but the engine doesn't work and the headlights aren't on. I mean, it defies logic. And when you've got James Milner on the bench and Robertson, fella, who they bought from Hull in the summer, who Irish fans might remember playing really well for Scotland against us in Parkhead, I think it was. But it's for a big club like Liverpool, it's shocking that they're in this state. They're not going to finish in the top 4 this year. I don't think so. Really? No, I really don't. I think everyone knows about them now. And you could be a goal down or 2 goals down against them and you still believe.
You see, the point you make, guys, about them getting the harder part right, the creativity, the scoring goals, creating chances. There was a graphic, there was 16, 17 attempts at one stage after about 70 minutes. And we've lots of examples of really good attacking Liverpool play, which you're going to talk us through, Eamon.
Yeah, I mean, it breaks your heart to give goals away, but they can. They've got these quality players, Salah, Mane, Firmino. These are real top players. I mean, Manchester United don't have that up front, believe it or not, despite all the money they spend. These are really, really dangerous players. They've got pace, power, vision, and you see here with Salah, he's a really good player, and these are the really difficult things in football, as Liam said, and creating chances like this, and you can see the willingness and the intelligence of their attacking play, but it's going to break their hearts. It's like a great golfer who can't putt. It drains your confidence. It's a beautiful ball in. Again, these, of course, as well as the goals and the penalty that came from them, this is Moreno attacking. And he made the first goal. But he has to do his first job, which is to defend.
It looks to me, Dara, as if Klopp has coached this interplay between the three. They swap positions over. They seem to be on the same wavelength. So that tells me that they've been working on that in training. But it doesn't reflect in defence that the same work has gone in. So I think there definitely questions have got to be asked of how good a defensive coach he is.
And you see, we've another example here of where the Liverpool defence was in bother, and look, it bears out the points that the three of you have been making since before the match started. Just have a...
This is at the end. This could be the winning goal. This is the defence again I talked about, Dara, playing square, and Muriel's got a great chance of scoring. Moreno actually puts his hand up looking for offside. There doesn't seem to be a leader or communication among the back four. There's no way that a guy gets through on goal just with a hopeful long ball. One's got to be marking, one's got to be covering. There's no communication going on.
And Didi, I know, like, let's go back to Dortmund, and in 2016 Klopp signed a 6-year contract with Liverpool, so he's in this for the long haul if things go to plan, and who knows what will happen in the future and all that stuff. But like, I know he had Hummels in the Dortmund defence, but was this and better players, but was issues with his defensive approach, were they apparent with the Dortmund team?
Well, they didn't get that by chance. They were probably as good as Bayern Munich, and if Lewandowski scored in the final first, I think they would have had a really good chance of winning the Champions League final at Wembley. So they were the dominant side with Bayern Munich, and the gap between them and number 3 to 18 was a lot bigger than the gap is between 15 and 18 in the Premier League. In the Premier League, I think it's all the smaller clubs even got a lot of money, and they've built pretty strong squads, and they didn't need to do an awful lot because they had a lot of possession. They didn't have to press an awful lot to get the ball back because they were so dominant. They had some exceptional players in Royce on the wing and Lewandowski up top. Götze was in full flow. So it's a completely different ball game then, and he won the league there. He did well. But you need to see what league you come in, what club you come in, what needs to be addressed. And clearly, it hasn't been addressed at Liverpool because it's really criminal with the forward line they've got. They time and time again, they put pressure on the forward line because they concede such easy goals. And if you look after the equaliser, the last 15-20 minutes, I think they were running out of ideas because it gets to a stage where you go ahead, you miss a penalty, then you concede the equaliser, you go, what do we have to do to win games? And in the end, they could have lost it. And
demoralised. I mean, this is a coach.
Demoralising,
it demoralises the forwards. I mean, I think Didi will confirm he bought Lewandowski for 3 million from a Polish team. I mean, this guy isn't an idiot. I don't think. But there's something that everyone else can see, and he doesn't appear to be able to address it or want to address it. It's baffling, isn't it, Liam?
Yeah, he doesn't often talk about it, but I think, you know, the way they're conceding goals, it will come under severe scrutiny, and he's got to be able to defend what he's doing, you know, because it's going to cost him.
And he can't, well, he has Robertson, and we've mentioned the young Scottish guy. He could go into the team instead of Moreno.
Milner is a better fullback than Moreno.
But, you know, personnel, he's got to work with this group, is my point. He can't, until January. And the Van Dijk thing, just, well, for a whole load of reasons, that didn't happen. But he's got this group. Now, can he improve these 4 guys and the goalkeeper, and will he improve them?
You know as much as me, he's not done it for 80 months, so why would he do it now in the next 5 months? So I don't know, he's got to work with these players now. I think the Van Dijk transfer was dead a long time ago when they've been reported to the FA. So if you tell me there's no better defenders out there than the ones they've got at the moment, you know, I don't know, I lose faith in the whole thing. And you just have to see what you make out of it now. And then I think the thing, or the turning point could be in a few weeks' time, in a few months' time. I still hope they do well. To bring Oxlade-Chamberlain, I don't think anybody understood. I certainly didn't understand. To bring him in for 40 million, a player that's not really wanted at Arsenal, who didn't perform for Arsenal for a number of years, played in that abysmal defeat they got at Anfield when they lost 4-0. Question marks about his attitude. And then you spend 40 million on a player who's another offensive player, who's got 1 year left on his contract. That baffled me.